So doing this report, I found a few things to be quite interesting. When I was reviewing the options for reasons that people don't believe in science, I certainly thought that people would be confused by some conflicting reports, especially on the climate change and the vaccinations part of the questioning. And I thought that people would believe some of these myths for another reason, such as taking one finding as a universal truth, again referring to vaccinations, climate change. But I was rather surprised. The majority of the time, people actually realized that these were myths and not scientific facts. There were a few, like the Earth is flat, that I knew people weren't really going to believe, but I thought more people would believe the opposites attract. I was wondering how many people would believe that vaccines cause autism and that we only use 10% of the brain, but there was only one person who was a little bit unsure about the vaccination process. Another person did believe that humans have no impact on climate change, and someone else believed that opposites attract. And I realized that the majority of the time people believed the myths that they did because of a social acceptance, because it just seems like what the majority of people are believing. When it came to humans have no impact on climate change, this was something influenced by her parents. She believed that there was no impact on climate change whatsoever. The person who believed or wasn't really sure about vaccinations causing autism, it was because they were confused about different scientific studies, not realizing that some of the people who say that vaccines are causing autism, that there's not an actual scientific basis. They had just seen a lot on social media about this. So overall, I think the reasons that people believe myths and don't believe in science is because of social acceptance. They don't want to say something that will offend those around them, so they just kind of go with it. And conflicting scientific results, which are just what appears on social media. So I really enjoyed this. I was glad to see that most people did not believe these myths. And it was interesting to see why they did. People trust a lot in their own experience, in their common sense, as well as scientific studies, whether it's something that they've learned in school or it's something that they have learned through social media, but fairly reliable sources. People tend to lean towards trusting that and their own common sense. So I really enjoyed this, and it was very interesting.